And welcome to a back of a Mk4 Mondeo with a really nice number plate. Right, we've got a Mk4 Mondeo here, 2-litre diesel, 2008, and we're having an issue with the rear lights. Now I've done a bit of digging on it and I decided to turn the camera on because this might be interesting, but we'll see. The ones we're having problems with are the ones controlled by the BCM. So like the indicators, the fog lights and the brake lights, I think the brake lights, they're all separate, they're fused. Where our park lights, driving lights, whatever you want to call them, side lights are not. I think the reversing lights are working too. But anyway, what's happening is, I'm going to turn the lights on now and you'll see. So ignition is on and the parks are on. And as you can see, we've only got them working on one side essentially. There's 3 bulbs in these Mondeos. 1, 2, 3. There should be 1, 2, 3 on the other side, and as you can see, we've only got one. We're missing the one on there, and we've got the 2 number plate lights. So that you might think, right, okay, that's okay, but watch what happens when I press the brakes. The brakes are now on. Most of you won't do it now, it's going to make a liar out of me. But what happens is, most of the lights shut off, and of course now, they haven't done it. That's typical. Let me start the car, see if that makes any difference. And of course, as soon as I turn the camera on, there we go. Now, as you can see, we've lost lights. So these lights have completely gone. Normally also, that far light went as well. But of course, it's not bloody doing it now. I think you'll find this light's gone as well. So I take off the brake lights. Yeah, all these lights are gone, and that's the one that's working. Now, the other light on this side here should also be working, and it's not, but the bulb is okay. We know the bulbs are okay in this because as you saw, they did come on. But as soon as I press the brake lights, they go off. When I reset it, and what I mean by reset it is just switch the ignition on and off. And of course, didn't do it this time, typical, but they did come back on before. But now they're not. We're getting no error codes as well. So let's just, did they come back on? Now look, they've come back on. So we have an issue, and it's the BCM. So we have an issue with resistance somewhere. It's telling me that the resistance is too high. Now, yeah, so done a little bit of stripping inside, and that's where I basically stopped. So as you can see, a little bit of stripping, and I've taken off all this as well. And what we're looking at is the green plug down there. Now you can see I've got 2 back probes there because I've just back probed 2 of them, and I'll show you why I did that in a second and what I found. Don't think it's a complete problem, but it's certainly a problem. All the other wires look good. So essentially all the wires coming from the back are going to that green plug from the back boot lid. And then these wires are separate. The lights down here are running through this loom, and the lights on this side are running through that loom. But they're all going back to the same place. But I think we've got a couple of issues here, to be honest, but I have to sort out the one I found first before I go any further. So let me show you that, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so as I look closely on here, I thought I saw a bit of the old green crusties. So we'll turn our meter onto ohms. I'll show you that in a second. I just don't want to disturb the plug too much. I wanted to get this reading first. Where is my other? Now I'm essentially just checking between the 2 pins here. And as you can see, it's 3.5 ohms, which is way too much. So yeah, now there's a couple of things we can try. We can disconnect the plugs in the light units and see if anything happens. On that one, nothing happened. And on the other side, nothing happened. We've got a couple more things here. Number plate lights, but they're working. But essentially when I'm unplugging stuff, nothing's changing. So just plug them back in. They're working. But like I said, as soon as it hits the brakes, there is an issue. So that is just way too high. It should be practically nothing. Let me just get another one. Well, it should just be nothing essentially. So I'll open this connection up now and we'll see if I can show you exactly what I mean. Let me get the camera set up better. Now you might not be able to see very well, so there you go. Now you can see, oh, let me just get the torch in a better place. There we go. You can see the top two pins are kind of got all the old crusties around them, and so is the bottom pins in here in this plug. Where is this plug? Oh, you can't quite see. But anyway, all you need to really see is this top plug. So we have issues there. Do we have pin fitment issues? Do we have just corrosion? What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and take out the inner part here and try and get these pins out separately. Once I've done that, I'll switch the camera back on. Okay, the plot thickens. Now we've got one bulb gone from here, both bulbs gone from there, but this bulb's come back. So yeah, I don't really know. And all I've done is really just took the probes off them connection and just touched it. That's all I did, and I've clipped it back. But so it's looking like we're in the right area because other bulbs are switching on. Even though this side on the back doesn't have anything to do with that plug, it has its own separate wire. But if the BCM is reading funny, it can just cut the power anyway. So yeah, just let me see if I can get them connections off properly and I'll show you what it looks like. Right, what I did is I use these terminal cleaners. They're really good because I didn't really want to have to take the connection all apart and maybe cut the wires and do all that. I thought I'd try this first. Now, these are just a couple I use, so you can use them internally and externally on the pins. They've kind of got this diamond coated stuff on them. Really good. I cleaned the connection, just put it back, and look already. Now it's still way too high, but just after a quick cleaning, we've come down from 3.5 to 1.6. What I'm going to do just for shits and giggles, I'm just going to turn everything on and I'm going to see what it thinks of it now. Does it last longer before it cuts off, or do we get any weird things happening, or is it okay? That's still too high. I want to get that down to about 0.1, 0.3 at the most. And yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what the story is when I start this bad boy. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of load this up, turn everything on, then turn the ignition on with everything on to kind of give this bit of a spike just to see if it likes it or not. It's kind of the worst case scenario to see if there's any kind of, it detects any high spikes or high resistance when it all comes on. So I'm just going to wedge the brake pedal on, turn the lights on. The ignition is off. So that's just the normal lights. We've got no brake pedal. Turn the ignition on. It's the ignition on. So we should have brake lights. Oh, interesting. We've got no brake lights. Hold on. Now. Rip my microphone off. Now, as you can see, we've got brake lights. I have taken off these bulbs because they were wrong. They were brake light bulbs. Sorry, they were indicator bulbs. They were the wrong color. If this doesn't go out in a few seconds, I think we're on the limit of that resistance because it is still way too high. So I'm going to do a bit more cleaning, try and get the pin fitment a bit better. Because I think we're on the limit. We're on the limit of everything working. Then get proper bulbs for it as well. Because the bulbs can also be an issue. The wrong bulbs in these, it doesn't like. But that resistance, however we look about it, was way too high. And we had all the lights going off, if you remember. Not just this one, like, you know, this one decided to join the party. It's now staying on. So yeah, we're looking a lot better. I'm just going to let this run for a few minutes. If it doesn't go off, we're going to clean that connection a bit more, and we're going to see. Sorted. Okay, as you can see, we're all good. I've just put the indicators on as well, just to put a bit more load through the system. The lights haven't gone off. They've been on for over half an hour now. I've still got to get the other 2 bulbs for this, but I'm sure before I did this, them bulbs were actually in. But as you can see, we was losing this side. That side didn't even come on, was losing all sorts. When I put them bulb in, we only lose this cluster because they are the wrong bulbs. I messed around with the connection a little bit more, just cleaned it as best I could, so I'm going to show you the resistance of that now. The original problem with this car, we had to change a light cluster in the rear. I'm not going to really show on camera, but it was all damaged. You can't really see it. Damaged internally in there, and that kept blowing the lights. And then we replaced that, and then we had all these other issues. But let me just show you inside here the resistance now. Now you do have to bear in mind that connection there, that green connection, does the back lights, it does the number plates, it does the fuel cap, I believe. I might be wrong about that, but it also does like the lock for the back. I think it does the wiper. You know, there's a lot of, it's not just the lights that's in that plug, so just bear that in mind. Just turn on the old multimeter, and boom, there we go, 0.1, 0.2. So I'm happy with that. We've cleaned that, and everything seems to be working. So yeah, just put all this back together, get the bulbs. Well, I'm going to get the bulbs first. I'm not going to put anything back together until I get the proper bulbs, and I want to see what they do. And if they keep flicking on or doing something weird, I'll turn the camera back on. But if not, we know we fixed it. What I'm also doing is I'm just letting it rain outside. Obviously it rains outside, but I'm letting the car outside as it's raining, just so in case there's any water ingress anywhere that was maybe the water was causing any issues with it. I still haven't got the bulbs, but the bulbs are on their way. And yeah, now I can actually see if there's any water issues, because some of these Mondeos, especially at the back, can have water problems. I'll show you why when we open it, when it comes back inside. But it's just a good thing to check. Now it's raining, it's going to get wet everywhere, and if there is water ingress anywhere, hopefully it should show up. And yeah, that's it, sorted. So I've left it outside for a few hours in the rain, poured a load of water over it, and as you can see, this is what I'm on about. This is the water that kind of gets in behind this panel here, and I just like to make sure we've got no water ingress inside. Everything's still working. Haven't got my bulbs yet, hopefully get them soon, and then job done. Right, unfortunately they brought the wrong bulbs. I need to give this car back to the customer. I've let it out in the rain, I've done absolutely everything I can, and everything is still working. So we found a dodgy connection, wrong bulbs were fitted, also one of the clusters at the back was dodgy, but we replaced that ages ago. But that was kind of the 3 issues we had that's kind of caused these problems, and that's it. So yes, if you have a problem with anything at the rear, now bear in mind that that green plug that controls the boot lid, the locks, the lights, it controls more than just the lights, it controls wipers, absolutely everything. So if you're having any issues with anything at the back, look at that plug, because that plug can get a lot of green crusties in. So there we go, you don't need any wiring diagrams, don't need nothing. So look, hope it helps. Please like, share, comment and subscribe. Don't forget, links up here, links down below, but most importantly, don't forget, get your hands dirty. See you for the next one. Sorted.